If you've ever scrolled through social media and come across videos of Indian street food, chances are you've been shocked more than once. Vendors scooping food with bare hands, frying in oil so black it looks like coal, or dishes that seem almost inedible. But the big question is, why has Indian street food earned such a notorious reputation for being filthy and unhygienic? Why does it often make people lose their appetite? Is it really all as dirty as the rumors suggest? Before diving into the details, let's talk a little about the irresistible appeal of Indian street food. Because despite everything, people keep buying it and eating it every day. India is a vast and diverse country with over 1.4 billion people, making it the most populous nation in the world. With thousands of ethnic groups, hundreds of religions, and countless regional differences, its street food is like a colorful painting that reflects the richness of its culture. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization (FAO) of the United Nations, over 2.5 billion people worldwide consume street food every single day. That figure is based on older statistics. Today, the number is likely even higher, and India is without doubt one of the largest markets for street food in the world. The issue, however, is that alongside its appeal, Indian street food often appears in viral videos with titles like "The Most Disgusting Food in the World" or "Unbelievable That People Eat This." Images of vendors mixing food with bare hands, washing dishes in murky water, or setting up stalls right next to open sewers leave many viewers, especially tourists, horrified and unwilling to try a single bite. There are many reasons why Indian street food is labeled unhygienic, and to be fair, a lot of it really is. The first reason is obvious: the sheer population density. Wherever there are crowds, cleanliness is hard to maintain. India, being the world's most populous country, struggles with this problem on a massive scale. Major cities like Delhi, Mumbai, or Kolkata are always overloaded. Urban infrastructure, particularly in market areas, simply cannot keep up with rapid urbanization. As a result, street food stalls often pop up in places without access to clean water, with virtually no waste management system, sometimes right beside garbage dumps surrounded by filth beyond description. Videos and travel accounts from people who have actually been to India confirm that the situation is often even worse than what you see online. One of the most iconic images of Indian street food is vendors using their bare hands for everything: scooping, mixing, and serving food. No gloves, no utensils. Sweat dripping down as they work in sweltering heat only adds to the discomfort for onlookers. In India, eating with your hands is part of the culture, especially among Hindu and Muslim families. But when street vendors knead dough with bare hands, stuff fillings into bread, or even dip their fingers directly into sauces, that's an entirely different matter. The cooking equipment itself is also a serious problem. Blackened frying pots, pans coated with crust, or water containers reused over and over without being properly cleaned are all common sights. Cooking oil is often reused until it turns pitch black, producing toxic compounds that can cause cancer if consumed over time. A study conducted in India a few years ago revealed that 80% of frying oil at street food stalls is reused far beyond safe limits, filled with harmful substances. On top of that, India records more than 2.5 million cases of food poisoning every year, the majority linked to unsanitary street food. Let me repeat, over 2.5 million cases annually, and the real figure may be even higher. Street food is unhygienic partly because the ingredients themselves are unhygienic. They are often cheap and of uncertain origin. To maximize profit and cut costs, many vendors rely on low-quality produce, wilted vegetables, stale meat, or seafood that hasn't been stored properly. In India's sweltering heat, food spoils quickly, especially when refrigeration or proper storage facilities are lacking, since everything is hauled onto the streets and expected to sell fast. Some vendors even use unsafe additives such as industrial dyes, preservatives, or worse, mixing spoiled food with strong spices to mask the stench. This is one of the main reasons why Indian street food is considered terrifying. For example, in 2022, a shocking incident in Hyderabad involved a street stall selling stuffed bread. It was discovered that the vendor had been using spoiled chicken mixed with heavy spices to disguise the smell. The result, more than 50 people were hospitalized with food poisoning. The case made national headlines in India, sparking a wave of debate over food hygiene and safety standards. Another major reason behind the unhygienic reputation of Indian street food is the lack of regulatory oversight. The street food sector largely operates in the informal economy, with millions of hawkers who have no business licenses or food safety certifications. According to the Indian Street Vendors Association, there are about 10 million street vendors across the country, but only a small fraction have received hygiene training, and even then, enforcement and compliance are minimal compared to many other countries. For instance, Singapore, and honestly, the whole world seems to pale in comparison to Singapore. The contrast is striking. In Singapore, hawker stalls are centralized in food courts with electricity, running water, and proper waste disposal systems. In India, by contrast, management is virtually non-existent. Many vendors don't even know basic standards, such as storing food at safe temperatures or washing utensils with clean water. Now let's move on to the part you've surely been waiting for. The dishes considered the most horrifying and unhygienic. Among Indian street foods, Pani Puri is one of the most famous snacks. These are crispy hollow balls stuffed with potato and chickpea filling, then filled with spicy flavored water. When you take a bite, the liquid bursts in your mouth like a water balloon. It sounds delicious, but this is also the dish most heavily criticized for hygiene issues. Why? Because the flavored water is often made from untreated tap water loaded with bacteria. Vendors typically use their bare hands to stuff the filling and dip directly into the water container, raising the risk of contamination. Sometimes the same water is reused all day without being replaced, becoming a true breeding ground for germs. Another popular snack is chaat, fried dough mixed with potatoes, chickpeas, yogurt, and spicy sauces. While tasty, it's highly vulnerable to contamination because fresh ingredients like vegetables and yogurt are often not stored properly. Many stalls use untreated water for sauces or leave ingredients exposed to the open air for too long, attracting flies that spread germs everywhere. Some street foods also feature animal offal such as liver, stir-fried, or deep-fried. For Indians, these are considered nutritious dishes, but for many tourists, especially Europeans unaccustomed to eating organ meats, just the sight of them is enough to make them walk away in horror. Hygiene issues make things even worse. Offal spoils quickly without refrigeration, and vendors often cook it in filthy oil, turning the dish into a nightmare on a plate. Street drinks are another major concern. Sugarcane juice or lemonade can be just as risky. In some videos, you can even see vendors pressing the cane with their feet. Even when machines are used, they're often old and caked with grime. Drinks made with yogurt or other ingredients left out too long are equally dangerous. Ice, a common ingredient, is frequently made from untreated tap water full of bacteria. So, what are the consequences of these hygiene problems? The answer: very serious ones. Food poisoning is widespread in India, especially among tourists unaccustomed to local conditions. India reports more than 2.5 million cases of food poisoning annually, most of them linked to street food. Common symptoms include stomach pain, diarrhea, vomiting, and fever. More severe illnesses such as dysentery, typhoid, hepatitis, and even cholera can also spread through unsafe food and water. For tourists, the notorious term Delhi belly sums it all up: the infamous stomach trouble from eating street food. On average, 1 in 10 tourists experiences digestive issues after trying Indian street food, usually due to bacteria or unfamiliar spices. At this point, you might think Indian street food is simply too filthy to touch, but let's look at it from another angle. While hygiene problems are real, not all Indian street food is dangerous. Many stalls are clean and locals eat these foods daily without issue. What seems disgusting to us, like eating with hands, is completely normal in India. Eating with your hands is deeply rooted in their culture, and for many vendors, using bare hands is second nature. Locals are accustomed to it, and their digestive systems have adapted, so they experience fewer problems than tourists. And despite undeniable hygiene concerns, Indian street food is tasty, affordable, and bursting with unique flavors thanks to the wide variety of spices, which is exactly why so many people still take the risk to try it. Not everyone who eats Indian street food gets sick. Locals with strong digestive tolerance eat it freely, and even tourists can enjoy it without worry if they choose a clean, busy stall. So, what about you? Would you dare to try the dishes we've talked about today? Thank you for following this story. If you found it interesting, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share it with others. For now, it's time to say goodbye.